What up, everyone? It's the Chinist. So what I have for you here today is a graphic novel haul. These are the graphic novels and trades that I've accumulated over the past couple of months. These came from two different sources. We had Half Price Bookstore and InStockTrade.com. So starting off on the Half Price Bookstore side of things, we have Mouse Guard. So I think this came out, when was it? I think like 2004 or something of that nature. Let me see, 2005. I think it was reprinted like last year. So they say that this is a Lord of the Rings slash Stuart Little. So yeah, I've never read this one. I heard a lot of good things about it. So when I pick it up, kind of check it out for myself. This is really reminiscent of Secret of Nymph, and I grew up with that cartoon. Man, I watched that movie like hundreds of times. So yeah, a little bit of nostalgia there. But yeah, Mouse Guard. Okay, another Mouse book. So this one is actually called Mouse. So this is volume number 1 and Mouse part 2. So this is a retelling or I guess a reimagining of the Jewish Holocaust, which occurred during World War II, and this is so the mice portray the Jewish community. And this starts from day one when the war kind of breaks out, and they start getting segregated. And at first they're not sure why, and then of course the death camps kind of come into play, and history kind of tells that story. So you have the cats that are the Nazis, and this is just like just a retelling. And I recall reading this in high school, and I felt that this was like a really great introduction for a child, to kind of explain, what the Jewish community kind of went through and what the, the world kind of experienced. And, you have Diary of Anne Frank, and it's really difficult for a child to kind of relate. Even if they read the Diary of Anne Frank, it's difficult for them to relate to that. I think this is like a great introduction. So yeah, Mouse. Alright, from DC we have Watchmen. So yeah, I recall reading this one. It was already in trade. I think I was maybe like a freshman in high school when I read this. So this originally came out in 1982. I read this probably like in 1992. It's probably what I recall. I remember sitting down like at the Walden bookstore and reading this. It took me a couple of visits, but I think maybe like 3 visits to read this entire book like at the store. So I never bought it, and then of course like a decade later the movie came out. So was it Zack Snyder who did the movie? I thought he did an excellent job going almost, frame to frame on a lot of these panels here, to the big screen. I really felt there was a few things that he changed at the end, for those of y'all who, have not seen the comparison between the book or the comics versus the actual movie itself. But again, man, I thought that Zack Snyder did an excellent job, other than, he changed the very end, but I thought it was for the better. He gets like a lot of negative reviews due to the change, but man, I thought it was for the better, in my opinion. I think the book is a little bit more far-fetched. I thought the movie was, although it's not realistic, the movie was more realistic, in my opinion, with what was already out there. So again, if you've if you've seen the movie and you enjoy the movie, I highly suggest for you to read through the book yourself. And as you're reading through, at the end of each comic, you actually had, I forgot what these were called, but you have like excerpts, case files, sometimes it's news clippings, but this gives you further character development, because this kind of sets some of the history for what you actually see in the story itself. So those little end snippets are extremely important for you to fully understand the story. So yeah, read through it all, try to understand it. It is a great storyline. Those who went to watch this movie expecting to see the Avengers, man, this is not the Avengers. This is more of a crime-solving type of storytelling here. But yeah, great superhero storyline nonetheless. Okay, another great storyline. So Batman Nightfall. So this kind of covers, I think, both the Detective Comics and Batman. I think they go back and forth on this one. So I had a few of these issues, but I never really read through all the way. And I think I read the second half, or I recall the second half more than the first half. So, interested in reading through this one, for myself, kind of like a first time through, to tell you the truth. So yeah, Batman Nightfall. This is volume 1. If I enjoy volume 1, I may pick up volume 2. Okay, next up again from DC, we have Superman. This is For Tomorrow. So I think this was from the New 52 run. And let me see here. I think this was actually right before the New 52 run. I think it's covered like Superman. Here it is, 200 through 209. So, I love Jim Lee. Jim Lee is my absolute most favorite artist or superhero artist of all time. Man, I love that detail. Superhero artwork is what I'm looking for. Oh man, look at that 2-page splash. Great stuff. So yeah, and Brian Azzarello as a story writer, man, there are a lot of like Moonshine and some of the others that he's on that I just really enjoy at this point in time. So yeah, two powerhouses in my mind. Okay, moving on to got one from Marvel. We have Transformers. So this is the volume 1. This is like the very beginning. What is it, 1982, 1984, when Transformers first started. Let me see if it kind of tells you or not. Yeah, I don't see it in here, so it just says reprinting 2008. But yeah, so this takes you, this is Transformer issue number 1 through, is it 16? Yeah. So here's that iconic, first cover, and I do not have this one. Yeah, I gotta try to find I think every issue I found had like tick marks all over. I want like a nice clean copy. But anyways, I have a few of the issues here and there, but I've actually never read through the storyline myself. I am not expecting, too good of a storyline. The cartoon show, was really, more for the toys, to push the toys as opposed to the storyline. So I'm not expecting too much, but, I want to read through this one myself just for the nostalgia. Man, look how much prose there are here, man. Gosh. So, yeah. So, yeah, Transformers. Yeah, looking forward to read through this one. Okay, from Image, we have Southern Bastards, and I actually picked up, let's see, this is volume 3. Yeah, so I picked up volume 1, 2, 3. So I actually passed up on this one when it originally came out in floppies. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the artwork that I kind of passed up, or I'm not really sure what it was. So, I'm aware that this is a story of revenge. And I think at first maybe I thought the storyline was a little bit too slow, but man, I really enjoy Jason Aaron, and really more on his Thor run more than anything else. I really respect him for that storylines that he put together for Thor. So yeah, so I'm really getting more into Jason Aaron. So really looking forward to anything else he has done, that's not Thor related, because I really haven't read too much from him that's not Thor related, to tell you the truth. And I've heard positive things about this one. I had a few people recommend this one for me. So yeah, I think he's like a football coach, and like he kind of goes to go clean up like some bullies around town, I think is what it is. But yeah, it looks interesting nonetheless. Okay, moving on to my InStockTrade.com stuff. So, starting off, Marvel. So, this is one of the few trades, or I'm sorry, one of the titles out there that I actually, I do keep up, but in trade and not in floppies. So, I love Amadeus Cho. I think I picked up like 1 through 12 in the floppies. And like other key issues like Weapon X, the Weapon H series that came out. But, I really enjoy Amadeus Cho. It's like his quick wit banter is what I really enjoy from the guy. And I'm aware that the Immortal Hulk is returned. Bruce Banner is back. I think he's going to lose his Hulk powers, and I don't know, he may die or go away. Not sure, but man, I really enjoy him, and him being part of Champions and his back and forth banter with the teammates. Man, I really wish Amadeus Cho is going to be here to stay, but we'll see what the future holds. Okay, Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe again. So I'm not too much of a Deadpool fan. It was my buddy who really turned me on to this one series. He was saying that the creativity that Cullen Bunn came up with to kill like all the superheroes that we know and love, he thought it was pretty imaginative and pretty creative. So yeah, picked it up really just for that, want to see like how he kills like all the various people that we know. So yeah, looking forward to reading through this one. I enjoy humor, but yeah, I don't know, Deadpool, he just, I don't know, talks a little bit too much for me, I guess. Okay, this is from, let's see, Boombox. So this is Misfits City, and this is another one that I passed up at floppies. I think it looked a little bit too slow to me. Maybe, again, it may have been the artwork that I kind of passed up at the very beginning. Because this artwork I kind of give maybe just like a 2.5 out of 5. But I heard that this was like really reminiscent of Goonies, which I love the Goonies. And yeah, so I heard this is kind of like an updated, modern, all-female story, similar to the Goonies. So I heard that, so really, yeah, looking forward to reading through this one myself. So yeah, Misfits City. Okay. 4 kids walk into a bank. So this is by Black Mask Publisher. So this one I heard just high reviews about this one. So one of my best friends who collects comics, he read through this one as well. Man, he loved it. Who was the so Matthew Rosenberg, and I think he's writing something else that I'm reading through right now that I also enjoy. I can't recall what title it is, but yeah. So the overall premise of this one, you have some guy. I think he racked up like a huge, maybe like a gambling debt with like the local mafia or something of that nature. So the mafia wants him to go rob a bank, for him to go pay off his debts. His son finds out about it, and his son convinces his buddies, hey, let's go rob the bank instead of my father, because if we get caught, we're just kids, and, we'll just get a slap on the wrist. If my father gets caught, he's going to go to jail for sure. So this is all about the kids trying to figure out, like, how to rob the bank, and I think they execute it, to my knowledge, but I heard the humor in this one was like a 5 out of 5. So I had to check this one out just, based on the humor. I actually collected this one in floppies, but I wanted to read the storyline all together. So yeah, 4 kids walk into a bank. Okay, next up from DC, we have The Flash. So this is book 4 by Jeff Johns. I collected books 1 through 3. I've read 1 through 3 so far. Book 3 was definitely the best, which is really more about the Rogue Gallery. So yeah, so Jeff Johns, man, I love everything that Jeff Johns has written, from Green Lantern to like, what was the All-Star Girl? I forgot what that title was, but JSA came out. Oh man, there's like so many titles that he covered that I just really enjoy, and it's really his, his love of the Silver Age. So a lot of the storylines are really, reminiscent of those original, Silver Age Flash stories, where, it's that true story, has the true hero has a couple obstacles, faces a lot of despair, but always overcomes, and always like a true moral compass is always pointing north. So yeah, so he took that back and kind of like redid the Flash, more in that sense, because I guess the Flash was getting unpopular, before he kind of took over. But yeah, so again, I really love Jeff Johns. I wish his influence on the Justice League movie would have been a little bit better. I heard that he totally got I guess fired from that from the movie side of things. But man, his comic book storytelling is great. So yeah, stick to that, Jeff. Okay, so next up we have Superman American Alien. So I heard a lot of good things about this one. I actually ran into all the floppies of this one. I think this is a 6-part series. I ran into like all the floppies at all for $1 each. So I picked up the floppies, but I did not want to read through until I picked up this trade, and I want to read the trade all the way through. So this is more about Clark Kent kind of fitting in on Earth, or fitting in with the humans, as opposed to stories about Superman and punching bad guys in the face. So I heard a lot about this one, and this kind of like follows his life from like a little kid, as he gets into, I think he gets a job here at the very end, is the final story here, but just kind of like what he went through, more of a character development type of story arc for Superman. So yeah, happy to read through this one. So Superman American Alien. Okay, so next up, I'm going to put them both out there. So these are volume 4 of the current Rebirth titles that are ongoing at this point. So Action Comics and Superman. So these are 2 titles that I enjoy, but each issue I just feel there's just not enough in there, man. There's just not enough meat in some of the single issues for Superman. So, you know, there's some titles out there that I just really prefer to read in trade. So, again, you know, this is one. And I know that they had like a couple of like PSA issues I thought, or that I heard were just horrible. So I'm just going to kind of skip over those in its entirety. But yeah, man, love Superman. But yeah, prefer to pick them up in trade. Okay, so next up, so I had the New Teen Titans, I think volume number 1 and 2 already. So I went ahead and picked up volume number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, went all in, and that's the first Nightwing, and number 8. So I think this concludes, you know, the entire original team before they changed the team to another team. And actually go to like another volume after this one. But yeah, so I wanted to try to pick up the Teen Titans all the way from the beginning on. And of course, that's awesome George Perez, you know, iconic artwork here. So trying to go all the way from the beginning, I actually picked up, I think, like issues number 1 through 22 in like a hardcover. So this one actually finishes off that original Teen Titans run that I had. So this is Teen Titans, the Bronze Age Omnibus, and sorry I can't get the entire thing in here. But this one actually covers, let me see here, issues number 25 all the way to the end of the series, which was issue number, what is it, 53. I remember like the very last issue, they kind of do like an origin story, like a zero issue, so to speak. But yeah, man, really happy to read this all the way through. So I have not picked up that first Teen Titans yet. I wanted to try to pick up the entire series and then start from like all the way at the beginning and binge read all the way through. So yeah, man, I'm really happy to finally pick up every issue that covers this this title here in a better oversized, like remastered, you know, copy. So yeah, man, really, you know, excited to read through the original Teen Titans. Of course, I'm trying to pick up the original Teen Titans run right now on the floppies, and man, that's going to be expensive. But yeah, we'll see how long that one takes me. So yeah, Teen Titans, man, love this stuff. So guys, that's going to be it for this graphic novel haul. Should you enjoy what you see here, please like and subscribe. Talk to you later.